We are going to finish the last section of Horrible Harry and the Mud Gremlins, and then I'm going to post some read-alouds from bugs in the ecosystem, and then we will connect this to our writing assignments. So we left off in that the kids had walked back in from recess and they had tracked mud through the classroom, and the teacher said, "Where did this mud come from?" And Harry said that it was the Mud Gremlins. Miss Mackle didn't laugh when Harry said Mud Gremlins. We didn't either. We all knew it was a big fat fib, but not one of us said a word. "Who are the Mud Gremlins?" Miss Mackle said. Harry hemmed and hawed a bit. Then he explained, "When we don't know who did something at my house, we usually blame it on the Gremlins. My great-grandfather, Sam Spooker, always told me that during World War II, when things went wrong with his plane, everyone blamed it on the Gremlins. They're little creatures that like to mess things up." Miss Mackle managed a small smile. "The Gremlins, huh?" "Yeah," Harry continued. "They even take things at my house, like socks and keys. I bet they tracked in mud through our classroom rug." "I don't think so," said the teacher. "Maybe they take your socks, Harry, but they don't track mud. Does anyone else have an explanation for this mess?" The class looked at the brown footprints that crossed over the Yellow Moon rug several times. Mary immediately went to her seat and started to write. Song Lee turned off the microscope and hurried over to her desk. When she put her head down, I knew what she was thinking. What do you think she was thinking? I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm going to get in trouble. The same thing I was thinking. Telling a gremlin fib was one thing. Keeping the truth from our teacher was another. We all knew what the truth was. We were the ones who tracked the mud. We broke a school rule by going under the fence and into the empty lot without permission. The teacher waited patiently for someone to say something. It was a very long and uncomfortable silence. Think, has there ever been a time when your teacher has ever asked the class to fess up and you waited a long time for someone to admit doing something wrong, and that long, quiet pause made you feel so uncomfortable? I could feel the goosebumps popping up in my arms. I could also feel the wet sweat dripping down the sides of my face. I feel sick," Song Lee blurted out. "Please, may I go to the nurse's office?" "I knew it!" Song Lee felt awful too. Just as Song Lee got to the doorway, Mary jumped out of her seat. "Wait! We'll all feel better if I read this now." Song Lee turned around and listened with the rest of us. Mary cleared her throat. Then she read the paper. "I hate stinkhorn mushrooms. They're smelly and ugly, but more than that, I hate fibbing. It can make you sick. You let people down, like your nice teacher." Raise your hand if you've ever felt like you let your teacher down because you made a wrong choice. I'm one of the mud gremlins that sneaked through the hole in the fence at recess to see a stinkhorn mushroom. Because it rained last night, the dirt in the lot stuck to my shoes. I made a real mess out of everything, and not just our classroom rug. I am very sorry. I hate fibbing." I want you to think. Do you think it was hard for Mary to do that? But do you think it was the right thing to do? Sometimes admitting your mistakes is very hard. As soon as Mary read her story, Song Lee ran into her teacher's arms. I am a mud gremlin too. I'm so sorry, Miss Mackle. Dexter and I showed the teacher the bottom of our shoes. We did it too, we said. We're sorry. Me too, Ida said. Sidney whispered something, but no one could hear him. Harry bowed his head. It's all my fault, Miss Mackle. I got everyone to go under the fence to see the fungi. I'm real sorry. The teacher folded her arms as she looked at Harry. Well, she groaned. I accept the apologies of the mud gremlins. Each one of you seems to have a genuine remorse for what you did. I'm glad Mary and now the rest of you are telling me the truth. Remorse. Remorse is when you feel bad about doing something wrong. Have you ever felt remorse? You did something wrong and then you feel bad for doing it. I have, many times. You broke an important school rule. You went on that little science field trip without permission. There will be consequences. I will be calling your parents, and you'll have to stay after school. Do you think the consequence is fair? All of us nodded. While Harry reached for the hand broom, I'll start cleaning the dirt off the rug, Miss Mackle. I will help Harry, Song Ling said, reaching for the dustpan. She seemed to be feeling a little bit better. I'll help too, I said. That day after school, we did chores for 1 hour. Harry and I used scrub brushes to clean the new moon rug real well with soap and water. Then we washed the blackboards and all the desktops with big purple sponges. Song Lee, Ida, and Mary rearranged all the books in our 2 large bookcases. One was for fiction and the other was for nonfiction. Dexter and Sidney swept the floor and cleaned out the teacher's closet. The worst part was facing our parents afterwards. The best part was that the girls found more neat books about mushrooms and fungi in our classroom library, and Sidney found a lunch bag that was in the teacher's closet. Inside was an old orange. It had grown an amazing layer of green and white mold on it. Miss Mackle let us look at it with Harry's magnifying necklace. Song Lee even made a slide of it. But the very best part was that Miss Mackle planned a visit to a nearby state park where there were all kinds of mushrooms, and everyone remembered to bring a permission slip, even Harry. Would you recommend this book to someone? What do you think the lesson was in this book? What do you think the author was trying to teach the reader? I think one of the lessons is that it doesn't feel good to lie, and that it's always good to tell the truth. But there were other lessons in here too. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed Horrible Harry and the Mud Gremlins. This is a chapter book. There are many Horrible Harry books. You may want to try and Google Horrible Harry on Epic and see if there's any other books on Epic that you may want to read.